This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there. Welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Rosie Lynn Reed. I'm sorry, QuirkyLoveRose. I'm not fixing it. Dark Anthropology Edition. Wah. A lot of you are new to Rosie. And if you are, you will not be familiar with the ongoing drama, but a lot of you are not that unfamiliar with her, so a lot of you will. I'm going to try to do a real brief recap of the current drama. Brief being the operative word here, but thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. This is Rosie's Patreon. She is now on three different platforms now that she has been demonetized on YouTube. She seems to think she's magically going to get her YouTube channel remonetized in March, I think is when her 90 days will be up. Roz was one of the Gorls that got demonetized in the great wave of demonetizations at the end of 2025. She got demonetized before Foodie. I don't know how Foodie manages. She is the survivor, man. She is the final girl. Anyhow, so anyway, around late November, early December, I don't remember the exact date, Roz's brother, we call him Rosee, her brother's birthday was around that time. And on her brother's birthday, Rosie received an email from an individual named Cam Yam. And if that name is familiar, Cam apparently sent her, well, he didn't apparently, we saw the screenshots. Cam sent an email to Rosie saying that he was going to be interviewing an individual who was apparently Rosie's attacker from years prior, and named the guy by name, or named him anyway. So, and did this on Rosie's brother's birthday. Now, this is the second year in a row that Cam, specifically, has done something disturbing to Rosie, specifically. And the year, what was it, 2025? In 2024, Cam sent White Claws to Rosie's home address, addressing them to Rosie's brother by name. And I guess thought it was clever. It wasn't. It wasn't received well in the circles that I run in, and I didn't appreciate the gesture then, because I was reacting to Rosie back then, very, very briefly reacting to Rosie back then, and I told Cam as much then, and I will say as much now. Going IRL with the girls is weird, and I don't think you should do it, and sending shit to people's houses, regardless of if their address is public or not, regardless of if they have doxed themselves or not, it's creepy, and you shouldn't do it. It's weird. Stop it. Anyway, so this year, because Cam decided to up the ante, Cam decided to send Rosie an email personally telling her that he was going to, on his Twitch channel, he was going to interview Rosie's attacker, because that's what you do. And then after she was visibly shaken because she checks her fucking email during a live stream, it was just bad timing on her end. I'm not blaming her. I just think Rosie needs to prioritize the shit she does on stream. She would have gotten that email eventually anyway, but the timing was poor. Anyhow, Cam then went on his own Twitch channel and tried to defend his actions and admitted that that was him, and also kind of admitted that he was planning on not admitting that it was him. He was going to try to pass it off as someone else had done it. He was not going to take responsibility for it, which he put his name on the email. But apparently his original plan, it sounded like in his Twitch that he had said in a roundabout way to me, this is what it sounded like to me. It sounded like to me that his original plan had been to deny that he had been the one who sent the email and claim that a troll had sent the email on his behalf. That is what it sounded like he was originally planning on doing. And then something changed his mind and he decided to claim it as something he in fact did. Which brings to question the pizza that Roz received on her birthday, not less than a month before. She, on a live stream, received an anonymous pizza to her house. And Rosie decided to go answer the door with a knife in her hand, because that's how you answer the door. Look, I am not saying either of these individuals are stable people, because they're not. But there's no need to go poking the bear. Anyway, Cam swears up and down that he was not the one who sent the pizza to Roz's house. And of course, everyone was like, oh, well, if it was Cam would admit that he did it. Really? Because it really sounded like to me he was planning on not admitting that he was the one that sent the email. Which makes me think that it's well within his ability to deny when he does do things. So I think Cam sent the pizza. That's my personal opinion. Y'all don't have to agree with me. That being said, even if Cam didn't send the pizza or not, Cam now has a pattern of harassing Rosie for no real reason, honestly. I really don't know why Cam decides to target Rosie like he is and go so hardcore IRL, because first off, it's just fucking creepy to send things to people's real home address, especially since at the time that in 2023 when he sent in 2024 when he sent the White Claws, Rosie had an open and active P.O. box that he could have sent those to if he really did want to send a gift to Rosie, which is what he was claiming he was doing. Just saying, if you really did want to send that gift to him, you could have sent it to the P.O. box with his name on it at the P.O. box, which was the public address that Rosie was sharing with the public, not her actual home address. I digress. But then to decide to go, full Monty and tell her that he was going to be interviewing her assailant on his Twitch stream. And then on his Twitch stream, basically say that the reason he wanted to do that was because he didn't believe Rosie's story. I don't give a shit. Irrelevant. Cam decided to take it upon himself to prove Rosie was lying. He didn't actually have contact with the guy that he was claiming he was going to be interviewing. He just wanted to rattle Rosie's cage because he wanted to see how she'd react. Badly. Also, not your job, Cam. So, fuck off. And then he went on to say that people who have been essayed in the past or at any point in their lives, including children, by the way, if they don't come forward and name the people who have attacked them or essayed them in their past, that we obviously don't care about other people, because if we did, we would name names and come forward with the names of our attackers, because to do anything else means that we don't care about anyone else around us, including children. He includes children in this, by the way. So not only are adults, predominantly women, who have been attacked by predominantly men who usually threaten you with physical violence, if not your own life, should you say something, who often turn out to be stalkers who will track you across state lines, cause some people to have to go into witness protection and even change their names and identities to get away from them. Those people are being selfish by not telling the world the names of their attackers. Selfish people trying to stay alive. How dare you? He includes children who have been attacked, usually by adults, who typically will also use the same kind of threats against children and the children's families in order to silence the children so that the children don't go to their parents or other people in authority and rat their asses out. Those selfish children. Fuck you, Cam. Anyway, if you can tell, I'm not entirely amused by that argument. Cam then decided that he was going to go on Twitter with a new identity because his Twitter account had been removed for God only knows what, honestly. Because his YouTube channel apparently was actually removed for threats of violence towards glitter and lasers. Look, I know people don't like Hannah, but threatening to pew her in the face is a bit much. I know she's frustrating. I don't think I've ever wanted to do that. I don't think Anna could frustrate me to the point where I would want to do that. I would even consider threatening something like that. That's a bridge too far. So, yeah. So that got confirmed for me. So I'm assuming his Twitter account got removed for something equally as vulgar and vile. Apparently he started a new one and then decided to go after Zachary Michael. Because Zachary had the balls to call him out in a video and tell everybody that fucking Cam is weird. Because it's fucking weird, Cam. I'm sorry. That's weird. All right. I don't know how many people need to tell you that. Anyway, Rosee. Thanks, by the way, Cam. Thanks for this. This is you, by the way. This is fucking you. Thanks. Rosee, obviously, doesn't react well to receiving an email from her internet stalker saying that he's going to interview her actual stalker and assailant from the past. And of course, in true Rosee fashion, makes way more out of it. Okay, here, I know I just went on a tirade about this. The problem with how Rosee reacted was Rosee didn't just attack Cam. We could all understand if Rosee had just gone off on Cam. We would all, and no one is saying Cam didn't deserve and doesn't deserve her ire. The problem is Rosee then decided to go after Zachary Michael, Pulpy. Did she go after Jordy as well? I don't recall. But then she decided to go after two of her friends. Her ex-friends. The ex-friends that she decided to make an entire video about with her little tiny baby voice. They called her a PDF. I can't believe she'd go on a video with them when they called her a PDF. Okay, she did that shit again. And then she also went after an individual who was at the time associated with Cam and was making videos, at least live videos with Cam. That one kind of almost understand because that individual was at the time making videos with Cam. So that one almost makes sense. Almost. Except if you go to Cam's live, also Twitter, and you see where Cam starts to spiral, also on Twitter, you will see that the individual that she will at some point refer to as his female accomplice, said individual disowned Cam, disavowed Cam's behavior, told Cam that what he was doing was inappropriate, told Cam to log off, told Cam that they didn't appreciate him using their research in this way, and in general was like, no, Cam, this is not acceptable. I refuse to be associated with it. I don't really know what else you want to happen there. That bridge got burned real fucking fast. I understand that all of this is happening on the internet. People can be lying. It can all be very performative. I understand that, but like, that's the best you can get with the internet, right? So to then continue to attack that person because of a passing association, and also understanding that it appears that Cam was also using that person, basically also using that person, at least from my end of it. I think it's unfair to continue to attack that person for Cam's behavior. It doesn't stop there. Rosie then goes on to say, now this isn't in this video, this is leading up to this video. Rosie then goes on to attack the entirety of the reaction community, telling us that this particular thing that Cam has done is not content and that we should not be reacting to it. So we didn't. And then she yells at us because we didn't react to it. How dare? How dare we not make a bigger deal out of this thing that she told us not to react to, that we respectfully did not react to? Because most of us agree this is not content. What do you want? I fortunately got a shout out because I put a tweet out, which, by the way, I did not connect to her. I took a screenshot of it specifically so that it would not connect back to her, but so that I could also put a message out on Twitter saying, this shit ain't cool, don't do this crap, which means she's personally following my Twitter account. I don't care. I just want to point out, Little Miss, I don't want to be part of Girl World, is going out of her way to follow reaction channels who are part of Girl World. Because I did not at her, I did not retweet her. There was nothing to connect my tweet to her tweet other than I took a screenshot. And unless Twitter has changed recently, which it might have, I don't know. I'm not as up and up on Twitter as I used to be. But screenshots don't connect to tweets as far as I'm aware. Maybe that's changed. But that being said, Rosie knew that I had tweeted out about it, which means that Rosie was monitoring my Twitter. So there's that. Anyway, Rosie then goes on to basically attack every other reactor in Girl World who reacts to her. Every other reactor in Girl World who reacts to Rosie came out, if not the day of, because that's how I found out about it, if not the day of, immediately afterwards, saying, no, what Cam did was wrong, and we disown him. Because the way I found out about it was one of the reactors that I follow held a 3-hour live specifically to go over what the fuck Cam did and why it was unacceptable within the community and how Cam was no longer welcome. That's how I found out about it. So all of these blanket claims that Rosie decided to just start throwing at the reaction community were unwarranted. And I understand she was upset. I do. I really do. But the person she needed to be upset at was Cam. The reality of the situation was the reaction community actually had her back in this. And honestly, as pissy and as bratty as she has been about it, we still do. This is still not content. This was still bad behavior. Cam is still a POS. All right. Even Zachary Michael still calls him weird. It's still fucking weird. It's still unacceptable. Right? However, I personally think her behavior is still unacceptable towards everyone else. Now, all of that being said, going back to the dark anthropology aspect of this, I don't think all of her behavior was reactionary in the moment. I think she was maybe caught a little off guard because I just think she was. No one's really expecting that. And I do think she maybe said a few things out of the box that maybe she might not have said if she had stopped to think about it. But going off of her past behavior, I don't know. I really don't. Because I've watched a lot of Rosie. I may not have reacted to it. I may not have made a lot of videos about it, but I've watched a lot of Rosie at this point. And I've witnessed her behavior. I've witnessed the things that she says. I've watched how she tries to twist and manipulate her audience and the words that come out of other people's mouths and the way she tries to control the narrative around her behavior specifically. And I don't know. And then we have, she took a month off. Well, she took roughly 3 weeks, almost a month off. Ditched everybody on Twitch, even after they paid for a month's worth of content. She basically just took their money and ran. She put content out on Patreon, pretty much it. Only members, only content. And that was it. And then she came back a couple days ago, not including this video. And she came back complaining about the whole cam situation again, complaining about the email, talking about how she's so resilient and how she didn't want it to ruin her brother's big day again. Who knows if it ruined Rosie's day or not? I don't know. We don't really talk about Rosie very much. We kind of respectfully don't really do anything with him. When and if he pops up on her streams, everybody really seems to kind of enjoy him. He's funny. He's really funny, actually. He's a funny guy. He has a unique sense of humor that I enjoy. I'm sorry. He has a giant crow mask that he tends to wear. I think it's hilarious. He's got a funny way of cracking jokes. He's got a unique sense of humor. We like the guy, all right? Everybody really likes him. We don't really appreciate the way Rosie treats him. And she doesn't like that. She doesn't like that we don't like the way she treats him. That's a whole other video. Anyway, she comes back in true martyr fashion. She doesn't understand why the people on Twitch are mad at her for taking 3 weeks off without any announcement, without any explanation as to where the hell she went, why the hell she went there, and there's no refund apparently. There's cat hair though. I guess she received a couple tart emails from people about basically, yo, where's my content? And she decided to make an issue about that during one of her lives. Hang on. Basically trying to shame the people who emailed her about their discontent about the fact that they didn't receive the content they paid for. She basically tries to shame them for trying to shame her. I don't know exactly what was said in the emails. Maybe they were kind of strongly worded, but I mean, it is kind of a pattern with her. She does kind of follow the ALR playbook of vanishing with no explanation and just kind of taking her audience's money and run. I mean, it is what it is. So this live here started off as a members only on Patreon, but then she decided to make it public. And the reason she's decided to make it public is because during this live, she apologizes to Zachary Michael. Which is nice, I guess, because it's a very backhanded apology. It's very, I've watched Zachary's response to her apology. I think it's very nice of him to accept her apology, but Zach has a lot of things to say about her apology and about some of the shit she has to say during the apology. And I really thought about reacting to Zachary's reaction to her apology. But there are other things that she says prior to and a little bit after the apology to Zachary Michael and then to Pulpy as well, which again is another very backhanded apology that I wanted to make comments about. And what I really want to zoom people in on, now that I think I've gotten us all caught up as to what has been going on for the past month, is that everything that she is doing is some form of damage control, obviously. And it's also some form of narrative control. So once again, what you are witnessing is Rosie doing her damnedest to be manipulative in a way that she can control the narrative that she is feeding her audience. And it becomes very evident that that's what's happening when you watch Zachary Michael's response to her apology. And I will hopefully remember the bits when we get to them, because Zachary points out specifically why there's a point where she says something to the effect of Zachary was oddly angry with her. And Zach was like, yeah, the reason for that is the shit you were saying about my dog. You just heard off of Reddit, and the people that were saying it about me and my dog on Reddit are the same people who are spreading false rumors about me, about abusing my ex, about taking substances, about not maintaining my sobriety, and in general spreading other false rumors about me without any evidence or verification. And you, Rosie, just ran with it and just started spreading it further on the internet, which is why I was mad about it. It wasn't an odd thing to be mad about. You were spreading manipulative, bad information without even batting an eye. And honestly, bringing it back to us, that is a control and manipulation tactic that Rosie's very familiar with. Okay? For her to say something like, he was oddly upset with me. No, you knew exactly why he's upset with you. And you saying he's oddly upset with me is just another way for you to diminish Zachary's emotional reaction to your accusations that he is a bad pet parent. That you admit in this video, or that you try to distance yourself from in this video by saying, oh, I was just repeating something I heard on Reddit. That doesn't absolve you of anything. I hear what you're trying to do. You're trying to be like, oh, it was just bad information. I didn't know any better. Innocent, poor me. No. That makes it even worse. That doesn't give you a pass. It doesn't give you a bye. It doesn't make you innocent. It makes it worse. Okay? Because you were speaking with your whole ass chest as if you had witnessed it yourself. And the fact that you didn't try to verify it, and you didn't say that, oh, I haven't verified this, I've heard. You're doing the same shit to Zachary Michael that Cam was doing to you. Anyway, let's get into this. I will probably stop it periodically to kind of point out various points where she is being particularly manipulative. Rosie has more than passed my last nerve. So if I come off particularly like rude or disappointed, or I'm going to try not to be too particularly rough, or if I come off rough, it's because I find Rosie's manipulation even more difficult to deal with than Foodie's and Amber's, because Rosie still tries to play poor, pitiful, innocent little girl on the internet. And there's a video by Sam at Every Size that I just got done watching. Actually, I'm not quite done, but anyway, my point is, and it's about a guy who would very easily fall into girl world. But one of the things that he pulls off is he kind of eradicates his social media and starts a brand new channel every once in a while. And what he achieves by doing that is it's like a scorched earth thing. So not only does he get a new channel every time he restarts his identity, he gets a new audience. And that audience isn't aware of his past. And that is something that Rosie is desperately trying to do and is successful with to a degree. There are a lot of people who are supporters of hers that are not familiar with her entire background. And that included me. And I still don't know all of her background, but I know enough of it now that I see what she's trying to do. And I find it even more heinous and insidious when she does try to pull this, oh, poor innocent me. Evil Zachary Michael. Oh, he's just picking on me. First off, it's they. Secondly, you know that. Thirdly, no, they're not. Cam is. I still can't figure out what the hell Cam's problem is. Probably he's just tired of your shit, but this is a bridge too far. However, I am perfectly happy to continue making these videos pointing out when you're being a manipulative word we don't say in the US, because I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of you trying to tired of you trying to put yourself out there to your audience like you're some kind of victim when you're not. Everything that happens to you, okay, the majority of everything that happens to you in your life is usually because of something that you've set yourself up for. And you try to pull this, I'm a victim, I'm a perma victim, people are attacking me, I'm undiagnosed autistic, I have other undiagnosed mental stuffs, but all of the stuff I'm actually diagnosed with, I'm going to ignore the shit out of because it's not the diagnoses I want. Okay? All right, so you're not going to do anything about those? All right, Amber. So you're going to pretend like you have these diagnoses that you don't have because those you feel like are easier to excuse your shit behavior with, but the ones that you do have diagnoses for, you're going to do nothing about because reasons? Up to and including your diabetes. All right, cool. I'm going to call you on it. Anyway, like I said, we're not watching this entire video and we're half an hour into this. So the nice thing is that we can play this back faster. I think I can do it at 1.5 and it's actually not even going to be, excuse me. It's not even going to be that noticeable sped up. I will say that for whatever reason, Patreon lives are like filming on a potato and the sound's roughly about as good. So I'm going to do the best I can with her sound, just because it's rough and it's not great. And I'm going to do what I can over here, but I promise you it's the best I can do. So there's that. All right.
You're so reserved tonight. Are you okay? You think I'm reserved right now?
You think I'm reserved right now? She's very performative. She's bad at it. Her body language always gives her away. Oh, and that's the other thing. She likes Patreon because she can play music in the background. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue with the copyright over here. If it is, I'll do the best I can with the music, or I'll see if my editor can do the best they can with the music. But I will warn you, she plays it really loud, and it kind of overlaps with her voice at certain points. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't know. She thinks she's cool. I don't know. She's like a teenager. I don't know what to tell you. The music, I don't know. It's really fucking annoying is what it is. And it's not even annoying because I'm reacting to it. It's annoying to listen to as someone trying to pay attention to her. Can I pull the chat up? I don't think I can pull the chat up. I do know in the chat she had like 5 whole people chatting.
Honestly, I feel really happy right now in this present moment. I feel really content and happy. But I think after what happened on my brother's birthday.
All right, well, if I full screen it, we can have the chat, but then I can't see what the hell's going on. So, but I found closed captions, so.
Spicy.
There you go.
I like that. I found some peace. I've stopped watching all Gorl content.
She says that every other week, so sure.
Sometimes read stuff on Reddit, but I do not read it like I used to.
She actively engages on Reddit to the point where she has active sock accounts that people know are her. So I don't believe her when she says she doesn't read shit on Reddit.
I do not engage like I used to. I have found so much freedom and peace in removing.
Keep in mind, she's only been gone for like 3 weeks. So she's making it sound like it's been years. She's only been gone for 3 weeks. So even if it is true that she's stopped watching reaction channels and she's stopped engaging with Reddit, it's only been 3 weeks at max.
Removing that toxicity from my life. And I'm so happy. about that. And I needed to not be in the depths of creating content to do that successfully. And it has, I feel myself getting a little emotional. It has freed me.
I feel like Rosie again.
In my last Patreon live, I mentioned my thoughts about like Amber and LCU, and I've made a promise that I'm going to keep. I'm not blasting screenshots. I'm not sharing DMs.
Of what?
But I have feelings about how she spoke to me, and I am not interested in engaging. I didn't even listen to the last voice memo she sent me.
Oh, okay. So apparently her and Amber are having a falling out over the LCU. First off, why the fuck should Amber give two shits about your opinion of her on the LCU? I don't know why you think you're the moral police within the girl world community. I'm really sick and tired of her not only trying to morality police the other girls, telling us how much better she is than literally all of them, including Glitter and Lasers. Okay. But then also she loves to get into reaction channels, comment sections, and tell reaction channels how she is disappointed in them and yada yada and what they're doing is wrong and blah 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 blah. The most recent example that I can think of came from when the whole Rachel fuck up occurred. Who the fuck are you? No one cares if you're disappointed in them, including Amber Lynn Reed. So stop. Every time you try to get involved with Girl World, Little Miss, I don't want to be involved in Girl World, but I'm going to DM Amber about her involvement with the LCU, and I'm going to get into Rachel's chat about her involvement with Tommy, and I'm going to go after Zachary Michael for something, and I'm going to go after Pulpy because I thought he was platforming Cam and Cam's female assistant, even though that wasn't what was happening. Yeah, that's not being involved in Girl World whatsoever. That's how you don't get involved with Girl World. I'm checking the Reddits, watching the LCU. Okay, tell me again how you're not involved with Girl World.
So I don't hate her. I don't have beef with her. I'm just done with all of it. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of feelings and thoughts about why and I decided to stop.
I don't think anybody actually asked her this question, by the way. She just, as it was pointed out in another reaction I was watching, where we were going over this, she just starts talking about topics. And because her chat is so slow, she'll just, whatever she feels like talking about, she'll just start rambling about it. Someone just said, you seem reserved. And now suddenly we're talking about Amber and the LCU. What does that have to do with you being reserved?
Like being a part of like the hater side of Girl World when it came to her, and why I felt and built compassion and all these things, and how I feel now about the chance I gave.
I don't think Amber cares about the chance you gave. Amber didn't ask you for a chance. You guys weren't friends. I mean, I guess you were for a hot minute there because you were bragging about how you and Amber were friends until Amber got demonetized, and then suddenly you guys weren't on speaking terms again, and now Amber's on the LCU, and again, now you have to prove to the whole world how you're morally superior to Amber. Cool. Doesn't take much. You want a gold fucking star? Like, this is what she does, though. Rosie has to present herself as being like the best Gorl in Gorl World, even though she's totally not part of Girl World. So she's constantly comparing herself morally to the other girls. She's better than Foodie because she doesn't make feeder content, even though she totally makes feeder content. She's better than Amber because she's not on the LCU. Okay, Keem didn't invite you to LCU. If Keem had invited you to the LCU, you probably would have jumped all over that. She doesn't like Anna because Anna is too corporate. How many fucking Amazon hauls have you done? How long is your Amazon wish list that you want your members to buy shit for you from? Who bought you that chair? How are you not capitalistic? How does that make you better than Anna? Anna buys her own shit. You beg people to buy shit for you. How does that make you better than Anna? But yet, she will sit here and explain to you over and over and over again how she is better than the other girls and also not a lol cow and not part of girl world. But she's constantly in other reaction channels chats. She's constantly on the Reddits. She's fully aware of what's going on outside of her sphere. Like, she is more involved in girl world than I am, and I'm a reaction channel. Putting it out there.
And I've ultimately decided I just want to move past it all, and I don't want any involvement. And it's going to be difficult because I know how trolls work and how they poke and prod. But I am done.
And it's all the trolls' faults. The trolls are the reasons. The trolls are the ones that keep dragging you back.
I'm done with the conflict.
The trolls are the ones that grab your little finger and make you type in REDDIT.
I'm done. I don't care how it affects my views. I don't care how it affects my money. I care more about my well-being than money.
I don't believe you. I really don't. Because I know what kind of content you make. Also, you've been platform hopping since you got demonetized. If you cared more about your well-being than you did money, you'd be doing your damnedest to revamp your YouTube platform so that you could get remonetized in March like Tammy Lemon did. Tammy Lemon's been remonetized because Tammy Lemon redid her entire channel. Because Tammy Lemon wanted to get remonetized. Tammy Lemon doesn't need to be monetized, but it was a matter of pride. You hopped to 2 different platforms, got monetized on both. Well, I guess Patreon starts off monetized, so you don't have to worry about that. But you got monetized on Twitch. As soon as you got monetized and got everybody's money for a month, you vanished. You basically took everyone's money and ran. So, yeah, I don't believe that you care more about your well-being than you do money. So, no. But keep trying to explain to me how you are morally better than Amber.
And I feel that is a key difference.
Okay.
So I think I'm more reserved because I'm prioritizing protecting myself. That is my priority.
Okay. And we have the dead-eyed stare into the camera because she's trying to convince us that that's true. This is a tactic that all of the girls use. Do you believe me yet? I'm just going to keep staring you down until you believe me. I'm going to keep my voice very even and very smooth and just keep staring you and repeating the thing until you believe me. Do you believe me yet? Do you believe me? I'm telling you this. Do you believe me? Make my eyes water.
They also use stuff as shitty methadone too. Methadone? I don't know what that means. Like it's gotten me off that mess. Yeah. Oh, I see what you said. Oh, I like how you worded that. That's awesome, Rosie. So happy for you. Thank you, Mouse. She's not well. We can't. Yeah, I'm not going to discuss what she shared with me, but I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it.
I'm not going to share what she had to say with me yet. Because the last time I shared her DMs on the internet, everybody started digging into my past and all the reaction channels started paying attention to my ass and it backfired. Well, at least you can learn a lesson, I suppose. She'll share. Don't worry. Give it time.
I'm happy for you, Tina's job. Thank you. If it makes you happy, that's not a chat. I'm going to focus on doing me. That's it.
Okay.
And
how is this different than normal?
During my the reason I needed time away too is I think I'm ready to state this because I know this is Patreon, so it's not technically publicly, but people will find out obviously because I'm going to be snagged. This is always a thing. But I was seriously, very seriously considering legal action, and I built a case.
I was very seriously considering legal action.
And I had to decide if I was going to pull the trigger or not.
What? very seriously considering legal action and I go to King's.
Very seriously considering legal action and I built a case.
Yeah, something, maybe she said I built a case.
And I had to decide.
Had to decide if I was going. So she says I built a case and I had to decide if I was going to pull the trigger or not.
If I was going to pull the trigger or not. About, because I looked into the statutes and what I would be allowed to do legally and what I would get granted and all of that regarding the cyberstalking of an individual. And I ultimately decided that I have it. And I hope that everyone in that section of the internet learned a lesson on.
First off, here's the problem with cyberstalking. It's very hard to prove. I'm going to call it for what it is. But if you've got a legal case against Cam, do it.
How to fucking act, and I don't have to do it.
But if you're hoping that you sitting here making empty threats about taking Cam to court or taking legal action against Cam is going to make Cam behave, you're wrong. And if you think you have a case against anyone else other than him, good fucking luck. That's all I got to say about that. I'm using YouTube key strokes, and doesn't work like that over here.
And that's not a challenge.
Isn't it, though? Isn't that exactly what you just did? I'm Big Bad Rosie. I could take you to court if I wanted to. Step up. Okay, what are you going to do when somebody does? What are you going to do when Cam hears this and Cam's like, all right, bring it? Because he will.
That's not a threat. That is just, I just was raised in a way where I don't like to get the law involved in my life. I don't.
Give me an example. You threatened an elderly woman with the police because she called you cheap because you were threatening to throw her out of your car over $12 that she didn't even owe you. You threatened to get the police involved with a Uber driver because you started a conversation with him that made him uncomfortable, and he asked you to get out of his vehicle before you accused him of RAPE, which you eventually did. So it was almost as if he knew what kind of person you were. Who else have you threatened to call the police on? To my knowledge, those are the two that come to my mind the sharpest. So how are you not okay with involving the police? Usually people who don't like involving the police don't even bring it up. Damn it.
I don't want the government involved in my life any more than absolutely necessary.
Like trying to get diagnosed with things that you don't have so that you can claim disability? Is that how much you like having the government involved in your life?
And I don't trust the justice system at all. And that was the reason that I was being weird and vague, because I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're actually going to bring a case up, I mean, you probably should play it close to, I mean, if you really are going to get the law involved, you probably shouldn't tell the whole fucking world what you have, because that's usually how these things work, at least in my knowledge. But still, you probably also shouldn't be telling the whole fucking world that you're planning on doing it either. Just do it. Either do it or don't. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying if you're going to, shit or get off the pot. But what you're doing right now is you're taking a big red flag and you're waving it in front of everybody's face going, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you're just waiting to see who's going to do what. And in the meantime, you're also trying to virtue signal by being like, I don't like getting the police involved. Even though I get the police involved every chance I can. There's video evidence of you doing it. Out of your own fucking mouth. With your own goddamn camera. You're like Amber. We can track you. So, yeah. Anyway.
That's the reason that I went about things the way that I did. Because I have what I need to serve and everything. I have everything.
Sure. I don't know what you have. I don't know what it takes. I've never tried to bring a cyberstalking case. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not trying to say, show me the money, because I don't know. And I also know that if you did, showing everybody would be the worst thing you could possibly do. So, but I do know that sitting here and pretending like you do or bragging that you do is also not a great idea. So I guess I just keep going back to, if you're really not going to do it, which it sounds like you're not going to do, you should probably shut up about it. Because it's really just, you're really just poking the bear. And I really don't know how much of a case you really do have. But I don't know. Maybe you do. I'll be there if it ever goes to court, because I am always fascinated in court cases. But it needs to go to court first, or whatever. I don't even know how these things go. But again, you have to get the police involved, and you don't like getting the police involved because you don't like the government involved in your life, except when you do. It's space bar.
And that's not something I've hidden either. But that's a very serious undertaking. And I hope that in my lifetime I never have to go through that process.
Okay. I will be one of the first people to agree with you due to cyberstalking you. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, you're sitting here telling me that you literally have everything you need. You're basically saying you're okay with it. You know who it is. There's nothing stopping you. So why won't you go through with it? That's my question. What is stopping you now? Like, we know who you're talking about. You know who you're talking about. They know who you're talking about. There's no ambiguity here. What's stopping you? Because it feels like the reason you're not going through with it is you don't actually have a case. And maybe that's true, and maybe it's not. Maybe you just literally don't want to go through with it. Understandable. It probably is quite a bit of red tape and bullshit because it's the law. And the law always is red tape and bullshit. But if you have no intention of going through with it, why are you sitting here puffing up your chest and beating yourself and being like, "Arr!" if you're not going to do it? It's waving a red flag in front of an angry bull. I don't get it. Why are you doing it? It's still spacebar.
But I will if I have to.
What are you waiting for?
And I mean that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure that open stare me down through the camera lens. I'm serious. I'm very serious. I'm serious this time, you guys. I am so serious. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm sure that's making an impression somewhere. And then you madly clap your book closed. Wow. Glad we settled that. Ah, yes, and the lip syncing. I completely forgot. How long does that last? Too long. She's writing in her recipe book, for those of you wondering.
Do you think the email gave you a nudge to find peace, just asking not to offend?
Talk about the email that Cam sent.
I'm not giving that man any credit for my work in finding my own peace.
3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
He doesn't get credit for that. I think it was the final straw.
The final straw to find your peace. I like how she's like, it was the final straw. I was already finding my inner peace. It was the final straw, though. What? I'm going to regally look off into the distance while I contemplate whatever the hell I just said was. Look how regal and contemplative I am. By the way, she has a new boyfriend right now. A new internet boyfriend that she met online. They've never met in real life. So some of this could be performative for said new boyfriend.
No. I wasn't planning to talk about this stuff today, but I think I feel ready.
Okay. I think I feel ready. You weren't planning on talking about it today? Because you certainly look like you were planning on talking about it today.
I feel no desire to address reaction channels again, especially the ones that I started developing the dynamic I always said I never wanted.
When?
Oh, damn it. Let me turn off auto moderation. Please, can you resend that? I want to read that.
I want to read whatever it was that you said, even though I have it moderated so that you can't say things.
I want to read what you said, but it got deleted by auto moderation. Ugh, sorry. Please, genuinely, please resend that. I want to see what you said. I know you said he was a psycho, but I want to see the rest of what you said.
I want to see what you said because you called somebody. I agree with you. That's a psycho. I want you to revalidate my preconceived notions about whoever the hell we were talking about. Probably Cam. But the point is, I want you to validate my feelings. So go ahead and resend that comment.
Sorry, I turned off the setting, so it shouldn't happen again. I spoke to someone because
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm aware that Zachary Michael stated publicly that I DM'd him.
Zachary didn't state publicly. Zachary shared the actual DMs. Zachary will do that and has stated publicly multiple times, not just with you, but with Amber, that they will do that.
I don't know what he said. I know it was on his Twitch, I believe.
They made a whole video.
I know that a lot of it seemed clear to me based on the context of the conversation I had. He did not share what I said, and if I'm wrong, correct me. I genuinely don't know. I don't watch him, and I haven't for a very long time, and I never will.
That was a lot of blinking and head shaking for somebody who just doesn't watch him. I totally don't watch him, you guys. I don't watch him. Okay, I believe you.
Again, but my appreciation for the video he made about the person who was cyberstalking me was deep.
So you didn't watch it, but you appreciate that they made it. But you don't know what was in it, but you appreciate that they made the video. They literally showed screenshots of your fucking DMs. So maybe you didn't watch the whole thing. I don't know. Or you would know that, but okay.
Publicly thanked him. I said all of that publicly because I had no intention of contacting him until I was really struggling to find the original full stream that was deleted by the person who was cyberstalking me. That had really important evidence in it.
Did it? Zach put up, because I actually made a reaction to it, and then I chose not to post the video, mainly because I didn't want to give Cam any more attention than Cam had already received. It wasn't about Rosie, it was about Cam. Mainly because I really don't want to give Cam more attention than is necessary, and since she keeps bringing it up, and I really wanted to address this, that's the only reason we're talking about it. But Zach has clips from the live stream in the video. I would actually like to watch the whole Twitch stream. I know it's been deleted, but I also know people archive things. My problem is I don't like going to certain areas of the internet where I'm pretty sure I could find the full thing. And I just don't have the connections on the internet to find someone who has a copy of the full stream on hand. So I would actually, this is one of the few things I really would like to watch the whole thing, just because I know it's going to piss me the hell off, but I would actually like to hear everything that was said. And I'd also like to see the whole chat, because from the little that I did see, just from Zachary's video. The chat was responding properly. At least the majority of the chat was responding properly, in my opinion, to the shit that Cam was saying. And Cam really did just kind of like tie his own noose in that one. I don't know if Cam just didn't really understand how disgusting what he was saying was, or if Cam didn't care. And just the few interactions I've had with Cam and the few things that I've heard from Cam, because I did listen to Nikki's, and I still do listen to Nikki's live streams. And I'm not going to lie, it always was hard to be in Nikki's live streams when Cam was on them. And I usually would dip until Cam left. But just from the few times that I would listen to Cam on Nikki's live streams and the few times I had to interact with Cam in other people's chats, I don't think Cam cares. I think Cam's perfectly aware of how unhinged his shit is, and I just don't think Cam cares. That's my personal take on it, but Cam is also another one of those people that likes to blame their bad behavior on their mental health, so there is that.
And while his video had the clips that would be very helpful and important, it didn't have everything.
How would you know? I don't even know what all's in that. So how would you know if you didn't watch any of it? If you're not connected to it, if you're not connected to Girl World, I am. I talk to the people that you're getting ready to lamblast. I don't even know what I didn't hear. How do you know what's not in it? But I'm not part of I don't want to be part of Girl World. Uh-huh. You know more about what happens in Girl World than I do. And I talk to the people that you claim you don't talk to. Okay? How do you know more about what's going on in the spheres that I'm a part of if you're not part of Girl World? Do you see why I keep calling you on your bullshit, Rosie? Not everything is in there. How do you know? I don't even know. Okay? I don't even know.
And I specifically said the only reason I contacted you was because I didn't know how else to get it. And if I could have found any way to not do it, I would. And I specifically mentioned that it was because of me trying to build the case and legal reasons. And that at the time I had no way of knowing if I was going to be able to get it. I did. I got very lucky.
I can think of like 3 other people you probably could have contacted besides Zachary Michael that I would have gone to first. Probably still will. You just went to Zachary because you wanted Zachary's help. Because you have this weird parasocial relationship in your head between you and Zachary. The same way Amber had that weird parasocial relationship in her head between her and Zachary. And it's the same reason Zachary does today with you what he used to do with Amber. Because Zachary has to cover his ass because Amber would pull weird shit. And you tried to do the same thing with him. Oh, well, I mean, Zachary and I DM all the time. Do you, though? Zachary's got the DMs. Sure doesn't look like you do. It looks like you DM him. You DM Zach. Doesn't look like Zach really DMs you. I wouldn't call that a conversation. Right? Zach had to learn that lesson through Amber. You pull the same shit Amber pulls. So you could have found this information other ways, which you proved. I know I could find it other ways. Funnily, I watched the same video you claim you didn't watch, and it didn't dawn on me to try to DM Zach and be like, hey, can I get a copy of that? Never fucking occurred to me to do that, actually. Because I can think of other people that I would reach out to first. Because Zach and I don't have a fucking relationship. Does that make sense to you? Why is this hard? But yet, you don't want anything to do with Girl World. Okay. Keep telling us that. Keep telling your audience how you don't want anything to do with Girl World. And I'm going to keep pointing out how your actions don't line up with your words. because that is how you point out manipulation. Okay? You're over here. Everybody look over here. Everybody look over here. Everybody look over here. Look at my Amazon wish list and look at me writing in my diary and look at me doing shit on my fucking laptop and look at me writing down my, what are you doing? Writing down my cookbook. Look at me doing all this shit. And look at me being poor innocent victim Lynn over here. Don't look at me getting in Reddits. Don't look at me in other people's chats. Don't look at me having Pulpy tell me that I should get out of their chat during their live streams. Don't look at me sending DMs to people who have basically told me not to DM them, who I've blocked and who have, well, I don't think Zach blocks anybody, but the point is Zach's basically asked you not to contact them. Look at me crawling around. Don't look at me crawling around on parts of the internet that are specifically for girl world. Don't look at that. Don't look at me doing that. I'm just going to tell you I'm not part of girl world. Okay. Yeah, let's not look what the right hand's doing, not what the left. It's still spacebar.
And I'm very thankful for how I was able to get it. And I give that person that I did a lot of digging and figured out a way. And I have it. I haven't watched it and I won't. But I did scroll through.
Then why did you want it? If you're not going to watch it, how do you know if you're not going to watch it, how do you know it has what you need in it? That's the part that sucks about evidence, is you have to go through it, and it's hard sometimes, and that's why cops have problems. Look, some of the shit they have to go through, it's legit, okay? It's legit trauma. Actual legit trauma. I'm not saying, look, I'm just saying. But also, like, if you're not going to look at the evidence, why do you even have it? How did you look at the chat if you didn't watch the video? The chat's not separate. The playback is linked to the chat. You'd have to play the video for the chat to work. Yeah? Am I crazy? Maybe? Am I wrong? They're not separate. They're not separate on mine. So how did you look at the chat without watching the video? And thirdly, if you looked at the chat, how did you not see that the majority of the chat were people going, dude, this is wrong? But yet you're going to sit here and villainize people that were in Cam's chat. You're going to further use this as a way of villainizing the people in Cam's chat. Even though the majority of the people that I saw from the clips from Zachary's videos, now granted, they're just the clips from Zachary's videos. I don't have the full video. They were like, dude, this isn't cool. This isn't right. This is weird. Maybe don't do this. Like, how did you take that as these people being buddy trolls? These people had your back. Even Nikki had your back. You know, that person that you're insisting on making a villain out of? Yeah, that person has your back. Or at least in this. Don't get me wrong. They don't like you. That's the part that kills me about this. These people didn't like you. They probably still don't. But they were still telling Cam that he was wrong. But we're the bad guys. Okay.
And look at the usernames. And so there are some people that don't know that I know, or haven't known that I know, that they're buddy trolls, and now I know. But one of them was in my Twitch yesterday, actually. But
here's the other thing. Some of these people like being in both. They like having both sides. That doesn't make them a buddy troll. I mean, they might be. But some of these people, they actually genuinely like getting both sides. Some of these people might actually be your ally being buddy trolls in other people's chats. Did that ever dawn on you? Some of these people in your chat might be in other people's chats to buddy troll them. You know? I mean, this door swings both ways. I
hold a sincere gratitude towards Zach for that. Doesn't change anything else. Doesn't change anything else about the past. But there was a conversation I had with someone who contacted me when it happened. And it forced me to see things in a different perspective.
Forced it.
And I realized that there was one thing in hindsight that I wanted to genuinely apologize for. And that was like when I said like the dog stuff. And at the time, I was angry and I had way more emotion attached to it all because I felt like so unheard, and it felt so unfair that it seemed like no one took into consideration the power dynamic of Zach being at the time back then my favorite YouTuber, and how I said something to him thinking our dynamic was one way and he took it wrong. He took it.
Right. Manipulation 101. I don't like how people didn't take into consideration the power dynamic. First off, you approached him on Instagram. You have a larger platform on Instagram than Zachery does. So, no, the power dynamic was in your favor in that case. So, people not considering the power dynamic, you would be the one abusing the power dynamic in that situation. So, oops, that was a bad, that was an oops on your end. So you're basically saying that you were abusing your power on Instagram towards Zach. Secondly, this is one of the times where it isn't lost on me. Now, I always point this out to you guys, and I always need you guys to really understand what I'm saying when I point this out to you. Zachery is non-binary, all right? And Zachery has said that they don't mind when people say or use he, him pronouns with them because they have spent the majority of their life using he, him pronouns, right? They prefer they, them. And I try my damnedest to say they, them. It slips. But the important thing that I need you guys to understand is the average person, when they're just scrolling through the internet or when they just hear her talk, are going to see with their eyeballs that Zachery passes male and that she passes female on the internet. And that's the important thing here. Regardless of how either of them identify, what's important is how the average person is going to perceive them. And this is where the power dynamic bullshit comes into play. Because she's banking on, again, misgendering him by not saying they and using he, hims, being fully fucking aware that Zachery prefers they, thems. Very aware. By the way, she's an ally, you guys. All of that being very important details, which is why I'm harping on it. She's banking on the average person not knowing Zach is non-binary, not knowing Zach prefers they, them, seeing Zach as male, her pulling this shit of, oh, it was a power dynamic and he was using his power dynamic against me because he was my favorite YouTuber at the time. She approached him on Instagram, where she has the larger platform. Zachery responded to her because they thought it was interesting that someone with a larger platform was reaching out to them. This is not the way she's telling the story. This is not the way she's setting the story up because she wants it to appear that a man is taking advantage of a woman on the internet. That the man is taking advantage of a power dynamic against a woman on the internet. That is what's happening here. That is manipulation 101. This is bullshit. So, no, Rosie. No. Bad. I don't care if you're apologizing to Zach. I don't care if Zach accepted your apology. I'm not letting this fly. That being said.
It away, however he took it. And then.
However he took it.
He just like exposed me in such a serious way. It started this escalation. And when I did say the stuff that I read on a forum that other people said, in the moment I took that as like not taking accountability for platforming it on my YouTube.
I will say this. I do not know the sequence of events that occurred between Zach choosing to expose Rosie's DMs between the two of them because of Rosie's inappropriate behavior that made Zach feel uncomfortable, that Zach expressed through DMs towards Rosie on Instagram. that, and Rosee making accusations against Zach about his poor pet parenting, right? I don't know the sequence of events. I don't know if Rosee made accusations about Zach's poor parenting or poor pet ownership. There we go. First, and then Zach decided to expose the DMs, or if Zach didn't respond to Rosee's parasocial attempts at befriending them, and then Rosee decided to retaliate by calling Zach a bad pet parent. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that's how that went down. Zach does have a video exposing Rosie's DMs towards them, but I don't know if that video has the sequence of events in it. However, I do know that Zach has at least 2 videos also out talking about Rosee attacking them about being a bad pet parent. Rosee is now claiming that this was all done out of anger because apparently Zach weirdly attacked her over the DMs. You can go watch the video that Zach put together where where they show the screenshots of the DMs between the two of them. I think it's pretty cut and dry. And you can also watch Zach's 2 videos going off about Rosee and her attacking them about them being a bad parent to Poe, the dog. But again, I am not fully on the up and up on how the sequence of events went. I do know that Rosee is pissed that Zach didn't reciprocate her parasocial relationship with them. And she has been on his ass ever since, to the point where Rosee is on record saying shit like gay men don't like fat women, specifically saying that about Zach, and Zach has addressed that, and then amending it to say, oh, gay and non-binary men have something against fat women, so that she could go after Zach specifically. Which one of you has an issue? No, Rosee. No. You, in none of these situations, was the victim. In my opinion, you are the aggressor in pretty much all of these situations. Zach is responding to the aggression that you put out there, and you got caught, and your fallback is always, poor innocent Rosee. I can't be held responsible. I can't believe Zach is so mean to me. Look at that mean man over there being mean to me. And when that doesn't work, Rosee falls back on, my mentals. Which is exactly what she's going to pull next. It's still spacebar.
Which I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did do that. And I felt at the time justified in that. And ultimately, I took someone's interpretation of a stream I didn't watch myself as fact, and I used it as a weapon to inflict harm because I felt hurt. And that is something that I try really hard not to do. And ultimately, it was over a kind of slightly bizarre parasocial connection that
you tried to forge between the two of you. And also, you literally just admitted that you will purposefully weaponize misinformation to hurt people. You just admitted that right there. That was a full-ass admission that you will purposefully weaponize misinformation in order to hurt people who you feel slighted by, which renders damn near every argument you have ever made against your ex-friends null. I can't trust them. I didn't trust them to begin with. But now that you have admitted that you weaponize misinformation and you spread it like wildfire because you feel justified because you felt hurt, you cannot trust a fucking word that comes out of her mouth. Unless it is verified by someone else, you cannot trust anything she says because she will weaponize lies and manipulations because she wants to hurt people because she felt slighted. I didn't even have to twist that.
At the time when I was oversharing with him, that time frame was when I was dealing with like psychosis symptoms, and I was like in and out of the mental hospital, and like shit was not great, and I that doesn't justify the fact that I may have made him uncomfortable.
But I'm going to use it as an excuse anyway. You weren't in the hospital the whole time. You weren't in psychosis. You weren't. You openly weren't. You were fully within your... Anyway, you were making videos where you were fully within your right mind. You were making, editing, and posting videos. Where was the psychosis?
And all that. And I just struggle with socializing with people. People love to like say I'm lying about being autistic and shit, but like I struggle with that stuff, and I made missteps and all that.
You don't struggle with that because the reason why people like to say that you don't have that is because you've been to no less than 2 doctors who specialize in it. Through your own videos and your own words and your own testimony, you have been to no less than 2 doctors seeking a diagnosis of autism, and both of them have told you you don't have it. They've told you you have ADHD. Well, I think one of them might have told you you have social anxiety. That's not autism. Also not excuses for treating people like shit, making up lies, and manipulating people. Even if you did have it. Still not an excuse for your shit behavior. You're just like Amber with your BPD. Oh, I can be a total asshole to people because of my BPD. You're just being like, oh, I'm a total asshole to people because of my undiagnosed autism that I know I have, but that doctors keep telling me I don't. Okay. I don't believe you have it. I have people in my life who do. So I don't believe you have it. And even if you did, it's still not an excuse to act the way you do. Also, your brother has it. Why are you doing that? Right? Anyway.
Scenario, and it's been a long time since that all initially happened, and I've spent a lot of effort working on how I interact with people on the internet and being very cognizant to not be weirdly parasocial or whatever.
There's no weirdly parasocial or whatever. You're weirdly parasocial, period. Your last love interest before the one you're currently talking to ran screaming because after you made out with them one night, you literally told the entire internet everything about them, like to the point where they could be hunted down if one felt the need to. The person before that, you shared so much fucking information about them on the internet that people were able to track down their fucking criminal records. And then to defend said person, you reached out to the people that were the victims of said ex, and then bragged about how you had done that to prove that the ex didn't do the things that they apparently actually did. You're weirdly parasocial. You overshare. Okay? It's weird. You're weird. You really should work on that, especially since you're now talking to another person who you've never met in real life, you've only met online, and you're starting to overshare already.
And I genuinely feel really bad because it seems that was like what took Zach from just kind of talking about me to like being weirdly angry at me.
Gee, I wonder why he's angry at you. Wonder why Zach is weirdly angry with you. Wonder what would have made Zach weirdly angry with you. Maybe the accusations that Zach was abusing their animals. Maybe that might have made Zach mad. Maybe that could have made Zach angry at you. I imagine that might have made Zach angry at you. Maybe that, then you doubling down on it as if you knew something about it. Probably the posts on Reddit that you made about it. And then, oh yeah, and then gay men don't like fat women because reasons. Right. I'm sure that didn't help. Can't imagine why Zach might be mad at you.
And I don't think I saw it that way for a long time.
You still don't. I can tell from your body language you still don't.
And after this conversation, I hope to never say their name again.
You've said that before too.
Genuinely.
Uh-huh.
And I mean that.
Uh-huh. I give it a month.
And I am sorry.
Zach said that they would accept the apology, but that's Zach. And Zach explained the reasons for accepting the apology, and that just shows that Zach is a bigger person than Rosie will ever be, honestly. I wouldn't accept it. Zachery's a bigger person than I am. I'm just saying.
So
I'm also a Scorpio.
For that portion of it, I have my own frustration. And I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, they monetize making fun of me for a living. So I'm not particularly interested in, like...
You monetized... Every time you opened your mouth talking about Zachary, you monetized it. Every time you attacked Zachary on your streams about their poor pet behavior, their poor pet care, how they didn't like fat people just because they were gay, how you misgendered them, how you were picking fights with them. Every time you brought Zachary up on one of your streams, you monetized it. So I'm thinking it's tit for tat. Because all Zach ever did was react to your content and call you out on your bullshit. And when you really started to piss Zach off, Zach shared your DMs to prove that what you were saying was a lie. And to basically cover their ass. So that's all Zach ever did. And also, Zach proved that you were the one that asked Zach to react to your content. And you knew what kind of content Zach made. So you asked him to do it. And you were ecstatic when Zach did. You were in tears. Tears of joy that Zach was reacting to your content. So, no. Absolutely not. Try again.
And even like apologizing like this or things like that, but it's not about them or that. It is about the fact that I made a mistake.
Yes. But you can't seem to say that without walking it back or backhanding that apology across Zach's face. That's the part I want to keep pointing out here. And you're going to do it again here to Pulpy. You can't seem to say, I made a mistake. I did something wrong. You can't seem to say that without pointing out how Zach is somehow also a bad person. Or how Zach also did something that triggered you or justified you doing this. There is no justification for you being an asshole. There really isn't. You escalated in most of these situations. You're just trying to blame Zach so that you don't look like as bad a person as it is. You really did make this a worse situation. You really did attack Zach out of the blue about being about the pet thing. You really did inappropriately DM Zach about shit that Zach told you they didn't want to talk about. You really did weirdly become parasocially attached to Zach after Zach kind of told you he didn't want to talk to you anymore, right? You really did do all of these things. Zach really didn't prompt any of it. Okay? Zach didn't trigger you. You triggered yourself. You want everybody to think Zach is a bad person or that Zach is somehow responsible for this shit. Zach's not. Every video that Zach has ever made in retaliation to your behavior has been because of your behavior. It has been a way of Zach protecting themselves from your behavior. That's it. Yeah, you get pissed off because Zach comes in with receipts. Okay, that's your problem, not Zach's. That doesn't make Zach a bad person.
I said that.
And you saying, I made a mistake, and then blaming Zach is not taking accountability.
That he's a complete psycho and he's going to fuck around. It's not about Zach. Fuck around with the wrong one someday, whether it's you or someone else, yeah. Yeah, I hope you realize that you do have people all over that love you. Never doubt that. Thank you, Miles. I appreciate that. And I wasn't planning on talking about this today. I didn't even realize until the moment struck that I think I'd feel overwhelmed to do this on Twitch or YouTube, and I know that being behind a paywall is kind of, I don't love that. I might actually make this replay public.
Thank you.
I think I might do that. When I publish this, I think I'm gonna make this replay public. Yeah. It's a soft launch, yeah. I will, that's what I'm gonna do. I wasn't planning on this. So while we're here, I have some more things to say then, since we're here. I'm aware that Colby stopped reacting to me, honestly.
And it bothers you?
I was happy about it.
Were you? You don't look like you're happy about it.
I know people may not believe that. No one really believed me when I said that when I did, I have not watched him in a long time, and I did see some stuff like when things were transpiring in December. But
I haven't watched him in a long time, except in December. December's a long time, you guys.
In the process of disengaging, I disengaged from him entirely as well.
Disengaging implies that there was some kind of engagement. You just stopped watching Zach, or theoretically, you stopped watching Pulpy. It's not really... Disengagement implies that there was some kind of, like, relationship. This is why people call you parasocial. There was no relationship between you and Pulpy. My understanding is every time you pop up in Pulpy's chat, Pulpy would tell you to go away. I guess that's a relationship.
I understand. I don't think I fully understand why, but I think I understand a good portion of it, and I respect it because in hindsight, the word platforming in terms of the person I referred to as the cyberstalker's accomplice was probably not the best word,
but I used it anyway because I knew it was charged and I knew it would get a reaction, and I wanted that reaction because I was trying to aggravate people and attack as many people as I could, including Pulpy, who really didn't have any fucking thing to do with this. Pulpy out here catching strays because I was mad.
to be fair, I was actively very traumatized by the scenario, and
so I decided to just lash out at anyone and everyone.
And I was handling it the best that I could, and I was speaking in a stream of consciousness in a live format that had no editing.
So? You still said shit that you shouldn't have said. You still attacked people you shouldn't have attacked. Your behavior was still abhorrent. Nope. Also, your lives can still be edited. Edited? Yes, you can still edit those things. You can take them down. You can cut chunks out. You can put them back up. I know. I have lives that I have edited things out because they either kept me from being monetized. I didn't agree with them after the fact. I don't know. I burped too loudly. Music was in it. There's a number of reasons to edit lives. It can happen. I promise you.
So, and again, these are not meant to sound like excuses. I hope that they're coming across as explanations.
No, they're coming across as excuses because that's exactly what they are. You could try to recouch that. You can try to control the conversation. You can try to reframe and redefine things however you want. They're excuses. This is what always used to drive my teachers crazy because I would not give them excuses as to why I didn't complete an assignment. They're like, why isn't your assignment completed? Because it's not. This is what you're doing. These are excuses. You're giving excuses to excuse your behavior because you don't want to take responsibility for the fact that you misbehaved. And you know you did, or you wouldn't be bringing it up now.
Of what I've seen in hindsight. And through talking through everything in therapy this past month. And just taking time to process and journal and use my
Are you a journaler? Do you journal? Do you have journals and journals and journals? Are you going to read your journals to us? Are you and Amber going to have a journal off?
coping skills and work on myself away from, and giving myself the space and time away from the judgment of people like Pulpy.
I really don't watch Pulpy. I think I've watched Pulpy a handful of times and I've enjoyed... I really don't know why I don't watch Pulpy because I've enjoyed every time I've watched Pulpy, to be perfectly honest. I think Pulpy's a hoot. That being said, judging? If I've ever... Okay, the three times I've watched Pulpy, it doesn't seem like it's misplaced judgment when I've watched, but I don't watch Pulpy every night or every time Pulpy goes live. I don't watch, so maybe. But I'm gonna go off of past behavior, your past behavior, and go off that if Pulpy was judging you, it's probably because you deserved it. I mean, I hate to be a dick like that, but pass the prologue.
Even though it's the goofy, silly, fun kind of version of it, because it's not. It is the nicest version of it. I've said that before. Like the nicest of a mean bunch. I stand by that statement. But it was.
Then maybe it's not judgment. Maybe it's criticism, and you don't know the difference. There's a difference between. I'm into this Irish comedian right now. I don't know his name, but he's funny. There's a difference between taking the piss, as he says, and judging you. Right? There's a big difference. There's a difference between trying to gently criticize you and maybe get you to see the error of your ways and just straight up judging you. I'm judging you. And the difference is I don't think you can change because I don't think you're interested in changing. I think you don't think you fucked up. And I think that because you don't think you fucked up, you don't see any reason to change your behavior. And because you don't see a reason to change, you're not going to. So there's no point in giving you any criticism because you won't listen to it. Therein is the difference. You give people criticism if you think they're going to internalize it and use it and change and maybe adapt. You judge people when it's not going to, when you know they're not going to change. Right? Judgment is punishment. Criticism is the hope that they might change. For better or for worse. You don't. And that fucking live that you do on YouTube the day after this, proves to me you have no interest in changing. None. It was offensive. It was disgusting. It was amazing. I will be reacting to it. And we will be watching you eat because that's clearly what you want people to do. Even though that's what got your fucking channel demonetized. Anyway.
It's clear, and I always knew that he was not aware. And that was what was so difficult of when it first started, when I was first watching him, and it was like kind of just like a silly, almost banter in a way, I guess. I don't know another word for it.
It was bantery when he told you to get out of his chat? I don't feel like that's banter. I don't typically tell people to get out of my chat that I'm bantering with.
Weird on my part.
I can't recall. I mean, I know I've told a couple people to get out of my chat. But I can't recall me ever doing it as a ha 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 ha.
Part two, I get that. And I've been unpacking that. But,
excuse me.
I genuinely, to this day, like, I don't think Pulpy's like a bad person or a malicious-minded person who would have ever been okay with what that cyberstalking man and his woman accomplice person. I know that there's stuff around that on whether or not she was actually quote-unquote accomplice, but I don't trust.
I know that what I'm saying isn't accurate and true, and that what Nikki was doing wasn't actually didn't actually make her an accomplice. I know that the words I'm using are inaccurate and misinformation and manipulative, and I'm attempting to perform character assassination against Nikki. I understand that that's what I'm doing, but I'm not going to change my language at this point because I wouldn't want you to change your opinion about her. Because I'd rather lash out with misinformation and lies and manipulation because my feelings are hurt and I want to hurt her in return. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Did I interpret that for you? Gotcha.
Anything, so I'm just using the same vernacular I used last time.
Why? You've just admitted that it's wrong. Change your vernacular. You're using vernacular that you admit is incorrect. So you're continuing to mislabel someone knowingly using harmful labels because... Why? Because it's manipulative? Because it makes you feel better? Because you know it's more harmful? You're doing it on purpose? Okay.
Because I'm not saying their names.
God forbid.
So.
We all know who you're talking about.
And I also understand that my lack of providing that context can be confusing. And that was something that I remember Pulpy saying as well. But I also deeply respected the...
So you attacked Pulpy using vague posting got mad at Pulpy because you were vague posting and Pulpy was confused. Then you attacked Pulpy for being an accomplice to things that Pulpy didn't understand what they were being accused of being an accomplice to. And you admit that you were being confusing and that Pulpy probably didn't understand what you were attacking them for. But it's okay. Because... And somehow this is Pulpy's fault. Okay.
The fact that when Pulpy talked about the situation, he didn't monetize the stream. And I will not be talking about him ever again moving forward, whether he reacts to me or not.
Okay.
That's not what I want to do. And I don't remember a lot, because when I watched it, I remember I was shocked at some of the things he was saying that were clearly like responses to, I guess, what some of the community had been saying to him. And I was shocked. And I mean, I don't know if it was just trolls like excited that maybe Pulpy had been like kind of brought into drama for the first time and we're trying to like make something happen out of that, because that's just how Gorl is. But
I don't think that was the first time Pulpy's ever been brought into drama. I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I'm pretty sure you're not the first time Pulpy's ever been dragged into Girl World drama, because Girl World has been around longer than you, and Pulpy's been reacting longer than you've been in Girl World, so formally been in Girl World, so I don't think you're special is what I'm trying to say. I know you want to think you are, but I don't think this is the first time Pulpy's ever been embroiled in Girl World drama.
It blew my mind, because I knew what I meant when I brought that up, and that was what he apologized and took a sense of accountability for, which was that, like, you know, not knowing and understanding how I wanted to, and what I had tried to say prior when like no one believed me about her involvement and how gross she was on Twitter, and like all the like his terminated channels where she was saying the most egregious shit right along with him. She has coddled him, she has protected him, she has platformed him. She is just like him.
I said way back at the beginning that Nikki and Cam have history, and I'm not lying, they do. And in that history, they have history. But when Cam pulled this shit, Nikki was one of the first people to disown him. So, even Nikki has limits. Does Nikki like Rosee? No. And even with what Cam pulled, it doesn't change Nikki's opinion of Rosee. Because even with what Cam pulled, it doesn't change Rosee's history. It doesn't change Rosee's past behavior. It doesn't change Rosee's current behavior. It doesn't change the shit that Rosee's done in the past to other people. It doesn't change the things that Nikki doesn't like about Roz. It just makes Cam a bad apple. And the community expelled him. But did Nikki platform him? Yes. They shared a platform for a while. Did Nikki go to bat for Cam on more than one occasion? Yes, that is true. Did Nikki coddle him? I guess I don't know what your definition of coddling is. Did Nikki like him? Yeah. That's what makes this suck. And that's why I'm like, I think Cam was manipulating Nikki, but that's my personal opinion. That's up to Nikki to decide what was happening there. But that's a thing between the two of them, not between me and them. So that's my personal opinion. Is Nikki just like Cam? Not in my opinion, but I do leave room for, an adjusting of opinions. But right now, no. Because if Nikki was just like Cam, Nikki would have gone down in flames with Cam. And Nikki didn't. Does Nikki not like you? Yes, that is true. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but would Nikki be the first person on YouTube that says really harsh things about you who doesn't like you that I have been friends with, or at least friendly with? No. I still have videos linked in the description of pretty much every video I do about you that go back to Nerfy, and they are good videos about just how fucking ridiculous you are and how fucking manipulative you are that Nerfy put together. And Nerfy does not pull punches. I am nowhere near as mean as Nerfy is, but I agree with Nerfy. Okay? And Nerfy booted Cam long time ago. So people can not like you and people can be mean to you and not be supporters of Cam. Putting it out there.
And
I'm
so
very
when
serious.
she was suddenly around these like bigger channels that were giving her the attention because she was able to like rebrand in a way successfully before this happened, it was so hard.
You ever think maybe I don't even know if she rebranded, but you ever think maybe the other channels took Nikki seriously because the shit Nikki was putting out there was actually quality? Nikki's not doing anything except playing videos from your channel. That's all Nikki does. Nikki just does retro reacts to your shit and reactions to your modern shit. Nikki doesn't do anything else. Nikki doesn't even really edit your videos. Nikki will put edited things up on occasion, but for the most part, Nikki just does live reacts to your content. Your content. The shit that comes out of your mouth. The things that you videoed. The things that you posted. The crap that you edited. I am determined that that's how that word is pronounced. That's all Nikki really does. Nikki's past, I don't really know. To be perfectly honest with everyone watching, I don't really know. I didn't know anything about Nikki before this year, 2025. So again, there's the possibility that I will have to eat crow. It's always there because it's the internet. I don't know anybody on the internet. No one knows if you're a dog, you know, but so far I've not really seen anything that makes me overly cautious about Nikki. Is Nikki harsh in a way that I am not? Yes. Does Nikki say things that I would not say because Nikki's, well, Australian for one, and be just harsher than I am? Yeah, but Nerfy would say shit that I wouldn't say either. And I'll go to the mattresses for Nerfy. So I got a lot of people on the internet that say things that I wouldn't say. And it's not because I think they're bad people. I just wouldn't say them. That doesn't make them bad. It just makes them less tolerant of you than I am. What does that say to you? Anyway.
Because I just ultimately knew that like someone like him would not be okay with it, but just his general disdain toward me for how I'm perceived by these people.
You're perceived by these people because of the shit that you have said and done.
Made it to where there was no realm of possibility for me to be heard or believed.
Be heard or believed about what? I guess I wasn't there for when she was trying to do whatever she was trying to pull with Pulpy, I guess. Maybe she seems to be talking about a very specific incident. It sounds like she tried to roll into, this is what it sounds like, I could be wrong. It sounds like Roz tried to roll into Pulpy's live stream and tried to be the center of attention during Pulpy's live stream, and it sounds like she got shouted down because people weren't having it, and as a defense, she decided to just start slinging mud, and Pulpy caught strays because it was his live stream. That's what it sounds like is happening, or it sounds like what happened. So there's that. I don't like Roz because of what I have seen of Roz's behavior in the past. Through her own videos, through her own interviews on various podcasts, through stuff that she has put on the internet herself. I don't even dig. It's stuff that exists that she has put out there or has allowed to be put out there by other people for her. Okay? There is not a goddamn thing that I know about Roz that isn't public knowledge that she has made public. All right, maybe there's a handful of things, but even that is public record. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't dig for Roz. And that is how I have made up my mind about her. Her behavior in her videos, the things she says, the things she doesn't do, the things she says she doesn't do, her overall behavior, her fucking Amazon wish list. I don't like Roz because of who she portrays herself as on the internet. And the things that I have seen on Nikki's channel are literally just videos of Roz from Roz's channel. They're just old retro videos of Roz, or they were modern lives from Roz. That's all that is. And she just cannot wrap her head around the fact that people can watch her and come to these conclusions. She genuinely thinks that we have to be manipulated into not liking her. No, girl. I have eyes. I have a functioning brain. I can watch you and make this decision because I know how manipulation works. I know how liars work. I'm watching one right now.
So
I'm going to continue to blame Pulpy for something that I did, but I'm going to forgive him for it because I am a magnanimous one. I don't even know if she had people in her chat responding at this point.
I will not be apologizing to the other two people I mentioned because they know what they said to me and how they spoke to me that night.
I'm not entirely sure who she's talking about. I don't think she's talking about Cam and Nikki. I think she might be talking about her two ex-friends. I think. She's done everything in her power to burn those bridges to the fucking ground as hard as physically possible. And honestly, again, I don't know either of these two women very well, but neither of them really seem to have earned Roz's ire other than they got tired of putting up with her emotional manipulation and basically cut ties with Roz. And in true Roz fashion, she is going out of her way to hurt them because she doesn't like that they left her. But I'm not positive that's who she's talking about, because the only people who were involved in Roz's head in this email event, which is what this is all about, was Cam, Nikki, Zachary Michael somehow, Pulpy somehow, and then the two friends who I am not going to name. They know who they are. If they want to come forward, they're more than welcome to, but that's up to them because they really aren't involved in this. But Roz has for, I don't know, several months at this point, been going out of her way to perform character assassination on those two ex-friends. One of them by name in particular, because she's aware that they have a YouTube channel that has nothing to do with Girl World, by the way. It is not a Girl World related channel whatsoever. And Roz just cannot stand the fact that these two people basically told her, "You're too much. We don't want to put up with it anymore," because she was being, according to what I've heard from them, emotionally and manipulatively abusive towards them. And they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And so they walked away. And these are people that she had been friends with for like 12 years. So I don't know what to tell you, Roz. I really don't. I really don't know what to tell you there. I would think that'd be a giant red flag, but excuse me. But I guess it's not. Anyway, I think she's winding down. Otherwise, I don't know who these two people are. I highly doubt she was thinking about apologizing to Nikki and Cam. That would not have made any sense in the long run, but maybe it was. I don't expect her to apologize to Cam. Honest to God, I would never expect that. I would never ask her to do that. Like, if, as we were talking all the way back at the beginning of this fucking video, if she really does have everything she needs to take a case in front of the police and file a claim or file a whatever against him, go for it. Like 100%. Even Zachery said that he would back that up. Or sorry, that they would back that up. Because Cam's a fucking weirdo, right? So, yeah, I don't expect her to ever say anything nice about Cam because I don't think anybody should. But that's my personal opinion on the matter. I think we're pretty much done here, though.
And I will never.
Never.
I don't hold anger or resentment, but I will never.
What?
I will never forgive them. Resentment, but I will never. And I will never. I don't hold anger or resentment, but I will never. I will never forgive them.
Never forgive them. Whoever they are.
The internet's gonna believe what they want. And they will never know my full side of the story. They'll never know the lead up.
I mean, you've only talked about it for like a month and a half at this point. You're right. We will never know the whole story.
And I want it to stay that way. And I wish them well.
Okay, now I do think she is. This is why I think she's talking about the two ex-friends. Because she does like to pull that.
I still love them. I wish them well. I still love them though. Even though they're dead to me, I still wish them well.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here because this video is 2 hours long. I hope you enjoy this. Please watch it in chunks. I'm gonna edit it down, edit out the bips and bops here, but for the most part, this is it. This is a really long video. I don't tend to do short videos when it comes to her, just because it is what it is. Maybe I'll cut it down into a part 1 and a part 2. If I do, I'll let you guys know. But if you've made it to the end of this video, go ahead and put a watermelon. I don't know. Go ahead and put a watermelon down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to use timestamps for comments, just because at this point I will not remember what I said or where. Comments or questions down below. Use a timestamp. Your thing's a watermelon. Let me know what you guys think. Do you even know what I'm talking about? What's been going on here? Do you follow Rosee whatsoever? If you do, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. And I will see everybody in the next one.
This
Bye.
is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.